Today's sermon is going to be on Unitopian autonomy and anarchy. And this is something that I haven't talked a lot about. It exists in our scripture, it exists in our books, and it exists in different sermons. But today I'm going to be talking from the fundamentals of UNICULT and from a spiritual approach to emergent technology, because in this book I talk a ton about the technology of governance and the technology systems that governance can offer us. And the technology systems that are used to surveil us and restrict our behavior and also empower us. So we're going to be talking from both of these books because they overlap, and because this concept is a new concept. It's not new, it's just that we haven't done any sermons on it yet, and it's not specifically written about clearly in any one place. So this sermon is going to be acting as our holy doctrine for this, and it's very important that we understand that as we move forward. So we're talking today about autonomy and anarchy within the Unitopian system. And the word anarchy is very sensational, and we think anarchy just means madness, but really anarchy just means that there are not any systems of governance, and that there is no coercion, and there are no institutions coercing people to do things, and that it's more built on mutual aid. Unitopia isn't an anarchist state entirely, and we'll get into that, but it's really the whole concept of Unitopia is built on one truth, and that one truth is that everyone is free to do whatever they want so long as it doesn't harm anyone. And that is the goal that we are reaching toward. That is the ideal society that UNICULT is trying to create. I'll say it again, a society where everyone is free to do whatever they want so long as it harms no one. And that presupposition is dependent on a lot of different things. So let's go through them today, because it's very important that we understand what it would take for us to bring forth Unitopia in order that we can bring forward Unitopia. First and foremost, UNICULT identifies that the personal will is holy and it contains valid and important information. The personal will is holy and it contains valid and important information. In our world, we off-put our internal state. We talk about this in UNICULT all the time, that our personal reality is often ignored for the sake of social reality. And we go along with social reality for the good of the whole, even though in the United States we have this very individualized sense of self and all of that, it still doesn't mean that our personal reality is actually guiding our behavior. The desire to fit into the tribe, the desire to belong, the desire to not be an outcast is a huge motivating factor for all of our behavior. First, we're going to read from Fundamentals on page 28, or actually 12. We're going to read from the truth of your heart. Okay? So, the truth of your heart is your compass on the path to joy. We're talking about the internal state, personal reality. What is personal reality and what is the truth of your heart? Your heart is unique and will guide you to unique truths, passions, and ideas. Joy is not spread by making everyone believe one single thing. Many people on this planet have attempted to spread their singular idea of truth to the masses. They have bullied, beat, killed, and converted. They have taken over land, rewritten scriptures, fought wars, and created propaganda. They have preached and volunteered, led and taken over, marched and rioted. All of these efforts have been in the name of truth, yet the effect of forcing one version of truth onto many has proven to be extremely detrimental, and at the very least, unfulfilling for the majority. UNICULT is not just my truth that I egotistically think that everyone should agree with. It is a thought study about the nature of reality, emotions, and human life. Only you alone know which thoughts harm you and which thoughts help you. You are in control of your own mind. You are in control of your own heart. You are the creator of your reality. You can easily spot a constructive thought or a destructive thought. Constructive thoughts give joy through your energy structure and body. Joy is an indication of truth. Each thought can be analyzed in this feeling way. Okay. We understand the truth of our heart is holy in UNICULT. And this understanding that our own internal state is different and unique from other people's internal state is one of the fundamental aspects of our religion. This idea that what you believe is completely different from what other people believe, even if you believe the same thing, the way and the quality and the feeling state that you have inside yourself that causes you to believe something is unique. So why is autonomy important in a society? Autonomy is essential in a Unitopian society because we are trusting each person to know the truth of their own heart. We are trusting each person to have the internal awareness to know about their own unique vibration and to know what is good for them and what is bad for them. The next question, of course, comes to harming people. If you are doing things that you want to do all the time, well, we say as long as you're not harming anyone, you can do that. So let's turn to page 28, which is harm none. And let's see what the scripture has to say about that. In UNICULT, our main focus is on our personal journeys. We focus on the benefit of the singular you and expect this to radiate out into the world. This means that when we treat ourselves with the highest love, we will be in alignment with joy. When we are in alignment with joy, we radiate joy. We will create harmony and we will do no harm through our being. Harmony can be trusted to create harmony. Oftentimes, we have a corrupted sense of internal joy because we have harbored fear and pain inside our consciousness for so long. Sometimes you'll be afraid that people won't like you, so you'll repress an aspect of yourself and you'll say, no, I really, really like this type of music, even if you don't like that type of music. And so if you're presupposing your entire internal structure on a lie, on something that isn't true, on something that is fear-based or pain-based, then you're not actually in alignment with harmony. But if you are truly in alignment with harmony, you will be able to tell you are, and you'll be able to feel it, and then you'll be able to radiate out that truth, and you will be able to create joy. Well, what happens? What happens if you know with your whole heart that you are aligned, that you are creating joy, and that you are resonating on your personal truth, but other people are telling you that you're hurting them? The example I use all the time is usually like a Christian family, right? If you're Christian and then when you're like a teenager you say, I'm not Christian anymore, your family will say, you're hurting me. Your family will say, you're going to cause me eternal suffering to just be in heaven knowing that you're in hell forever. Like you're hurt, like you're not allowed to believe in your truth because it hurts me. And that is not true. That is not true harm that you are causing. Because for you to gaslight yourself, for you to lie to yourself about your personal internal belief state is more damaging than any fear-based or pain-based reaction that other people have. So in Unicult, we have these two steps for following your true heart. And that is 1, listen to your own heart. When you are in harmony with your true heart, you will radiate harmony. 2, listen to other people's experience. If they say that you hurt them, hear them. Empathize. Consider. If someone else says that you hurt them, you are responsible for listening to their concern. Truly hear out anyone who voices that you are harming them and take their experience into consideration. Do your very best to see the situation from their perspective and validate their pain. Hey, I see that hurts you to imagine that you're going to be in heaven for all eternity and I'm going to hell. I see that hurts you. But after you analyze your own heart, if you are indeed in alignment with your own heart, You must first listen to that. You must stand up for your true heart while empathizing with the other person. One of or both of you may need space before true harmony can be reached. Ultimately, if both people are in alignment with their true hearts and loving each other unconditionally without judgment, harmony will be had easily. If someone is not aligned, I'm very passionate today because we're going to bring this to a very controversial place. And this is a build-up for a very controversial result here. But we are talking about two people being in unconditional love, listening to their true hearts, being free from fear, pain, or judgment, and knowing that their truth is their own truth, and to harmonize their own internal state, that is their responsibility. And if both people are taking responsibility for their own internal state, harmonizing it, and doing what is right for them, that they will not be creating fear or pain in other people if those other people are also aligned with their true hearts. This is Unitopian harmony. And this Unitopian harmony can only come through massive spiritual awakening that each of us are currently doing just by listening to this sermon, just by trying to heal our child selves and our own judgments and our own internal states, and finding that unconditional love for ourselves and for others. If you find that you are not truly in alignment with your heart and you have been acting out of fear or pain instead of love, it can take humility and strength to admit it. Rise up to this challenge. Apologize if necessary, forgive yourself, and do what you can to replace the fear and pain with confidence and self-love. Remember that just because someone says that you hurt them doesn't mean you're out of alignment with your true heart. Okay, so the importance of autonomy is that you are not me. I am so passionate about this topic because I am not neurotypical, because my internal state is completely different than other people's internal state, and because by following the path of social reality, by following the path of what other people said I should do, I became so depressed. I abandoned myself. I didn't listen to my own true heart, to the point that I literally tried to kill myself. I did not want to continue existing on this planet if it was just for other people's interpretation of what I should do, because social reality, in a lot of ways, is out of alignment with my true heart reality. And I think if we all meditate on this, we will all find that that's true in a lot of different ways. And that's why we're not just living in some kind of Borg reality where everyone truly is exactly the same. When I was growing up, all I wanted was to be normal. All I wanted was to fit in enough just to be normal, where people didn't look at me weird or think that I was weird or laugh at me or make fun of me or whatever. I just wanted to be normal. But I'm not normal, and there's no such thing as normal. Normal, this concept of normal, is a concept of a socialized box that we all try to fit into so that we can belong to the tribe, so that we can not be an outcast from our reality, from our family, from our loved ones, and so that we can continue to benefit from the socialized aspect of reality. We're social beings. In UNICULT, we don't say, fuck the social reality completely. We say that personal reality is just as important as social reality. So how does this have to do with UNICULT and with the future of governance? And specifically today, we're going to be talking about the vaccine mandates and how these are being imposed on society. And we're going to talk about healthcare. And so we're going to get into this. And I just ask that you watch your internal state as I talk. Feel into your feelings. Watch what makes you upset. Watch what makes you afraid. Notice the main emotions that you feel when we're talking about these concepts, okay? I know that it's sensitive, and I know that there is a social reality right now that is dominating the conversation, and I know that most of us, not myself included, but many of the people who are watching, I'm sure, have subscribed to this socialized idea, and I'm going to challenge that socialized idea in a way that is very loving and very kind, and I hope that you can hear it. I hope that you can open your heart and open your mind to these alternative ways of thinking. First, I want to talk about this new, we'll just go all in right now, and we'll talk about the new doctrine that we have for UNICULT, which states, and I'll read it here from the official doctrine source, twitter.com. Let me find it here. The physical body is the sacred domain of the will of the spirit. Only you have autonomy over your own body. Do what is right for you. Perform no medical rituals that are against your own strong intuitive knowledge of your personal health. And personal health is essential in this case because it is from our own internal state that we determine our own personal health. And I'm going to use a very simple example for this, okay? If you break your foot, who's the first person who knows that you broke your foot? It's you, right? It's your foot. So as your foot is broken, you're thinking, wow, this really hurts. I really need help. Maybe you can't walk. Maybe you need someone to help you. Maybe you need someone to drive you to a hospital. Okay, so you're at the hospital. A doctor has the technology and the training to treat a broken foot better, probably, than you can, right? So we're talking about two different things. We're talking about your own internal state. We're talking about your personal experience of knowing, okay, my foot is the one that's broken. Okay, my experience is that I'm in pain. And then acknowledging that there are systems outside of yourself, people outside of yourself, who are trained in specific ways of healing and who have access to technology that can help alleviate your pain and suffering. And so you give your personal autonomy over to the system. You give your personal autonomy of your own personal body over to the doctor, and you say, I trust you to heal me. I trust you to do what is right. And guess what? Doctors usually are very good at healing broken bones. Our system of healthcare is not perfect. And there are some aspects of it which are very helpful, such as the one that I just described. And there are aspects of it which are actually very toxic. And this isn't because of specific doctors or anything. This is because of how our country, especially in the United States, is being run. It's because of for-profit initiatives, and it's because of greed, and it's because of capitalism, and it's because of maybe perhaps other conspiratorial things that you may or may not believe. But the truth of the matter is that the funding that goes into medical institutions, the funding that goes into medical schools is determines the actual the things that are taught and how they're taught. The types of information that get taught are affected by financial bottom lines. Okay, and additionally, the doctors and the hospitals are not immune to lobbying, or they're not immune to, I will call it bribery, but corporations show up. I used to have a psychologist who he had packs and packs and packs of sample packs that these corporations would give him of drugs so that he could just get his patients hooked on them, and so that he would take on their drug. So all these different drug companies, all these different medical technology companies are constantly, their salespeople, constantly trying to get doctors and hospitals on board to take on whatever technology or whatever medications or whatever techniques are being promoted by the salespeople. This is not, as much as we would love to believe that this is a system that truly benefits us and that is truly here to help us, it is corrupted. And the level of your autonomy that you choose to heal yourself versus the level of giving away your power to someone who is more trusted to take care of you is your own personal decision. If you feel that there is an aspect of your health that you have more power over inside your own mind, inside your own body, than a doctor, which I feel this way in a lot of different ways because I've had a lot of medical trauma. I've had a lot of doctors do a lot of terrible things to me that were not helpful. And so I have learned to how to heal myself, and I have learned these things, and I don't mean all the ways. I would go to the hospital for a lot of different reasons. But there are aspects of it that I know that I can do better than the medical industrial complex because they don't have the same attuned reality that I do to my body and to my mind. Imagine if you go to a doctor and you say, my foot is broken. I know it. It hurts so bad I can't walk on it. And the doctor looks at you and says, no, it isn't. Get over it. That's a shocking thing when you're like, I can feel like the bone is sticking out of my foot. I know it's broken. And the doctor says, no, it's not. Maybe that seems weird, but guess what? That's happening every single day to different people for different reasons. A lot of people, maybe you yourself, maybe someone you know, went to the doctor and have said, this is wrong. I know something's wrong. And the doctor says, well, we can't find anything, so you're fine, I guess. I had a neighbor who literally died because he went to the doctor and the doctor said, there's nothing wrong with you, and he died the next day. The medical industrial complex isn't perfect. It's helpful, sure. And this has an absolute crossover with governance and with governmental technologies. And this has an exact crossover with our own personal autonomy and our own personal ability to govern ourselves. So let's keep talking about it. Let's talk about power. We're going to read from A Spiritual Approach to Emergent Technology. This book just came out. I highly recommend you get a copy. It's phenomenal. I'm very proud of it. So we're going to be reading from a chapter called Power and Technology. Our society and the technology in it have removed us from the understanding that power comes from within. We see power as something that is outside of ourselves. We see power being driven by greed and cutthroat competition. We see power arising from systems of slavery, both literal and metaphoric, as in the case with the economic model of inequality. We see power as coercion and corruption. This is not power in its purest form. Instead, it is a shadow of power. True power comes from our own conscious experience and our connection to source energy, the highest energy, or the most expanded energy, or the source of life which flows through all things. You don't need to believe in your connection to this power to benefit from it, but acknowledging it and focusing on it only strengthens your power. Okay, so this power, this source power, is cultivated first and foremost in our own body, in our own consciousness. First it's our own consciousness. So we're talking about source energy coming into our own consciousness, and then from there, it's distributed to the body, which is the ultimate technology. The body is very well mapped to the mind and works almost seamlessly in most cases to express and do what we wish it to do. There is a learning curve, and we must practice more complex movements to get the body to do them in a way we wish. Learning a new dance step, learning a new instrument, and doing a dance step, and practicing drawing are all ways that we map our body to our mind and will. So I'm going to show you this picture. We've got source energy that goes out to our consciousness, that goes out to our body, our home, and our relationships. Source to consciousness, to relationships, home and body, to the world. And then it goes back into source. And so this expression of power, and this realization that our power is always coming from source energy or from some higher place or from some eternal reality into our own consciousness, and that then from that place we are mapping it to our bodies and our will, is what's going to, is actually how power is operating on this planet. Power is important to understand because a lot of times we fall victim to social reality in the sense that we forget that our true power is coming from source. Our true power is coming from our own internal spiritual awareness. And we off-put our power and we say, this person has more power than me, so they should tell me what to do. Or this person has more power than me because they've studied this craft maybe, or because they have a deeper awareness, or this system has more power because it's organized, and the society has more power because there's all these people coming together. So what happens when you yourself know something to be true inside your own heart and your family rejects it? What happens when you yourself know what is true for you and your society rejects it? Most of the time, we gaslight ourselves, we quiet our own internal truth so that we can go along with social reality, so that we can go along with the rest of the world saying what we're meant to do. Let's see. As we look into our future with the technologies of governance, and the technologies of governments, I don't just mean sorry, I had to block someone. When I'm talking about the technology of governments, I don't just mean the technologies that we think of, like these external physical things. I'm talking about the actual mind control, social control mechanism of governance, the mechanism, the technological mechanism of propaganda, the technological mechanism of giving our power away to a structure that is theoretically operating to give us something in return, to keep us safe and to give us power. As we look into our future and the technologies of governance, be they mind or behavior manipulation or digital-backed surveillance, we need to analyze the desired autonomy of the citizens. Okay. I wrote this chapter on social credit systems, right? And social credit systems are just laws that are technological. So can laws ever be based on liberation? Can social credit systems be based on liberation? Can laws be based on liberation? The goal of UNICULT, the goal of Unitopia, is to give liberation and freedom and support to all people. A lot of people see this as a duality. Oh, if you have freedom, you don't have support. If you have freedom, then you're not protected. And we see these as two different things that we need to give one up to have the other. And in Unitopia, you don't need to give anything up. You get to have both. So how is this accomplished? Is it always are laws always inherently an attempt to control? These questions are the same that every parent must ask themselves as their children grow, and that every government should ask itself as it attempts to genuinely serve the good of the people. The sheltered child needs compassionate structure to grow. Once they reach a certain level of autonomy, they no longer wish to abide by the rules, and they rebel. This rebellion is healthy, and the child is beginning to explore their fullest selves as autonomous individuals in a society. Theoretically, technology can be used to create harmonious governance systems which encourage true liberation, harmony, and peace among a society. Our approach to governance has to undergo radical shifts before this will happen. As we look into the future at the technologies of governance, be they mind control or behavior manipulation, we need to analyze the desired autonomy of the citizens. Some citizens and subcultures will grow up faster than others and desire to be outside of government control. To these individuals and subcultures, laws and rules will feel restricting, but to many other individuals and subcultures, rules and laws will help them feel safe and secure since they have not developed their own sense of power or protection. And that's really what it comes down to, you guys. The idea of autonomy, the idea of governance comes down to this parent-child relationship. It comes down to the understanding that there are systems outside of ourselves which we give our power to because we don't have enough knowledge, skill, training, wherewithal, whatever, inside our own consciousness, in our own life experience, to make the assertion or the judgments about our own lives and our own bodies. So we participate with institutions so that we can have the value that these institutions offer. But unfortunately, when the power isn't recognized as coming from the individual state, there is the potential for external power sources to be corrupted. It's easy for an external power system to be corrupted because it isn't being guided by one singular conscious entity. It's being guided by a bunch of unconscious singular entities. Social reality, if it is comprised of unconscious people, unharmonized people, will be just as unharmonized as all of the individuals who make it up. A social reality comprised of unhealed people will be an unhealthy society. The only way to move forward to making Unitopia possible is to take our power into our own internal states and to learn how to govern our own energy, to learn how to listen to our own true hearts, to learn how to see with unconditional love, and to not have any judgment or fear or pain about the world. If every person is aligned, then the harmonious reality of Unitopia can exist. And as that happens, our society will become more and more anarchist, in the sense that it is more free, in the sense that the understanding of mutual aid is more easily created, and institutions as a macrocosm of the microcosm, the social reality as a macrocosm of the microcosm of our own internal states, will then reflect the harmonious state that we each carry inside of ourselves. There are certain people on this planet who are more advanced spiritually and psychologically, who have the ability to govern their own energy in a way that is empowered, healthy, and strong. You might be one of them. There are aspects of yourself which are advanced enough to the point that you want to govern your own life. There are aspects of your reality that you know are right for you. And if someone came along and told you that you had to do something different, that you had to work a different job, or you had to do something that was out of alignment, and you knew with every fiber of your being that it wasn't right for you to do, you would be very upset and frustrated at people who were trying to force their inability to govern themselves onto you. In UNICULT, in Unitopia, every person's body autonomy, every person's internal state is divine and holy, and all we can do is trust each other. You are not me. I am not you. I alone know what is right for me to do with my thoughts. I alone know the consequences of my actions. There is the backlash, the very strong backlash of social reality right now. And it's not this simple, I know, because there's a lot of brainwashing, there's a lot of propaganda happening on both sides of the reality, where people are being given misinformation, and there's a lot of emotional campaigns to get people on both sides to belittle and have just the stupidest ideas on both sides. I get it, and that's the aspect of duality. But there's the aspect of Unitopia where we look at one another and we say, you know what? You're you, I'm not you, and if you feel strongly in the way that you feel, then I trust that you feel that way. I trust you to handle that. And the main argument then is, especially in the case of this vaccine, that if somebody is making the wrong choice of not getting vaccinated, that they are putting other people in danger. And that is a lie. That is a lie. Because the theoretical science behind vaccines is that if you are vaccinated, you are protected. And what I think this backlash is coming down to is the idea that a lot of people, I want to say a majority of people, have gone against their own internal instinct, their own internal intuition of trusting the medical industrial complex, of trusting the governments right now. And they have gotten this vaccine because they feel like it is the right thing to do based on the social reality. I think the majority of people have gone against their own personal reality in this case, and they have gone with the social reality. And there's nothing wrong with that. If that's what you have done, then that's your decision, and I honor it, and I trust it. If that's what you chose to do, I am not you. You alone can make the decisions that are right for you. But I believe that because many people have betrayed themselves, there then grows a seed of anger inside the heart. There then grows a seed of frustration against the self for betraying the self. And then it becomes a manifestation of shame, and a manifestation of anger, and a manifestation of vitriol, in the sense that, well, I did it, so you have to do it. Well, I went against my own best interests for the good of all, so you have to go against your own internal state for the good of all as well. And then it becomes a violent and aggressive campaign. No matter who you are or where you are on this spectrum of having gotten the vaccine or not gotten the vaccine, or you're on social media every day saying that you hope unvaccinated people die or whatever, I don't care. I just want us all to take the time to listen to our own internal state and say, where is this feeling coming from? If you are not getting the vaccine because you're in fear or pain, maybe that's not aligned. If you're getting the vaccine because you're in fear or pain, maybe that's aligned. Maybe that's not aligned. I personally know that it is wrong for me to get this vaccine. I also personally know that my internal energetic state and knowledge of my own body and my own health is strong enough that I am not putting anyone in danger with this decision. Because 1, I'm pretty isolated. 2, I have meditation. I meditate every single day on the subtle energies in my body. I'm very aware of them. And I am very healthy. I eat very healthy. I exercise. I have good low stress life. And as I meditate on my own internal emotional state, my own subtle energies, and I've been doing this for years, I personally know when my immune system is compromised. I know before anyone else when my foot is broken. I have ascended to the point that I am very confident that my own experience of my own internal state and my own vibration of harmony is enough to protect me. Does that mean I'm never going to get COVID? I'm not going to stand up here and say I'm never going to get COVID, but I will say that if I did get it, that would be very strange. And also, if it did happen, then that would be divine, because that I have done every single thing that I can do within my personal reality to protect myself from my point of view. And there are people who are doing the same with the vaccines. They have done everything that they can to protect themselves by getting vaccinated, and yet they're still getting COVID. So can we blame them for endangering society? The thing is, the vaccine is not the only thing that keeps people healthy. And that's what we've forgotten. A vaccine is not the one and only indicator of health. We have immune systems, okay? And your own ability to listen to your own immune system and your own ability to strengthen your immune system, whether that be through your choice of getting vaccinated, whether that be through your choice of going vegan, whether that be through your choice of meditating every day, or drinking structured water, or taking supplements, or whatever you choose to do. That is your personal journey about your personal body. And in UNICULT, we honor it, and it is divine, and it is holy. I will stand here as a cult leader and I will fight for your right to do what you want with your body. I will stand here and I will fight for your ability to know what is healthy for you. Because if you don't listen to what is true for you, if you don't listen to what your true heart knows, you are gaslighting yourself, you are actually creating a system of detriment inside your body, and you are actually going to suffer, and that suffering is going to radiate out into society and turn into shame and turn into anger and turn into frustration, etc. This is a controversial topic. I get that. It's very heated. Our lives in quarantine suck. Being masked sucks. Getting vaccinated sucks. I get it. It all sucks. We're all in this together. But we have to give each other the freedom to make these decisions on our own so that we can then harmonize on the highest possible vibration of truth. If we are enforcing one truth, as it says in the fundamentals of UNICULT, if we are enforcing one truth on everyone, then how are we different than any other socialized control? If we have just one singular truth and this is the only one right way and everything else is wrong, how are we being unicultists? Unicultism means that we honor our internal state and that we honor each other's ability to make our own decisions about our own lives. And we find unconditional love and we find respect and we do what we can to protect each other's choices for what we choose to do with our lives. This goes into our bodies, this goes into labor. Eventually, labor, we're going to need to protect each other's ability to just live, if who knows what's going to happen in the next couple of years. Things are not looking good. I really am a cult leader at the end of the world, and I'm here for it. I just want to stand up here today in front of you and let you know that I am here to protect your true heart. I am here to protect your true divinity and your true internal state because you alone know what is going on inside your reality. You alone know the vibration of joy and of pain and how to navigate that internal state so that you can rise into the highest reality. Let's see if I missed anything. If someone does something that makes you uncomfortable, is that harm? If someone does something that makes you uncomfortable, is that harm? And the answer is no. People are allowed to make you uncomfortable. Usually discomfort means you're not accepting yourself. The reality is that we reject aspects of ourselves that our parents rejected. We reject aspects of ourselves that our society rejects because we do whatever we can to participate in social reality, and there's nothing wrong with that. But in rejecting aspects of ourselves that our parents rejected, in rejecting those aspects of ourselves which our society rejects, we create an internal outcast. And that internal outcast becomes our most hated enemy. And whatever represents that internal outcast on the outside, if there's anybody who's not repressing that part of themselves, you get angry. Because the injustice of you having to repress that part of yourself gets corrupted into anger and shame that you're trying to put onto other people. So that's your discomfort, is the feeling that your internal state, your internal outcast, is forever hated, and everyone needs to hate them, and you need to hate everybody else who's representing anything close to that. So if someone is standing up and doing something that you actually wish you could do, and you're uncomfortable, and you're angry, I think about this all the time. Somebody asked me once, do you get mad at people of color who are laughing? And I think this is maybe like a white person problem, And I think like a lot of Karens call the cops on black people who are just having a good time, right? Like maybe they're just outside having a good time, and it's like it's a disruption. And that feeling, that white person feeling of being uncomfortable with people being free and happy is because we are repressing in ourselves that same state. We say, well, I'm not allowed to have fun or be happy. It comes down to the same question of like, well, I paid my student loan debt, so everyone should have to pay their student loan debt. Just because you endure a pain doesn't mean that you need to enforce that pain on other people. So if someone is doing something that you don't feel like is right, if someone is doing something that you want to police, if someone is doing something that makes you say, I hope they die, that's an indicator that you're repressing a serious aspect of yourself. That's an indicator that you are not accepting or listening to your personal reality. Autonomy in Unitopia is important because it is the path to our freedom. Because in our honest, authentic honoring of our personal reality, we are then radiating out truth. When we repress our internal truth, we create artificial timelines of lies. The second that you don't allow yourself to be who you really are, the second that you don't listen to your own internal heart, you are creating and resonating on a detrimental frequency of lie, of not truth, because truth is coming from your own internal state. And you are a generator of a specific, unique truth that no one else is able to generate. Only you are able to generate your specific, unique truth. So that in UNICULT is fucking holy. It's holy. And it is protected. It is protected by our belief system. It is protected by our religion. This is your divine right to make decisions about your body, and it is your divine right to not participate in medical rituals or institutional rituals that are against your true heart. This even goes to working a job you don't want to work. If you're working a job you don't want to work and it goes against your true heart, in UNICULT we stand up for you. We don't have the resources to help you be free yet. But mentally, spiritually, emotionally, we are here to say whatever you want to do with your time. If you want to play video games all day, we stand up for that. If you want to work on the future of cleaning the oceans, we stand up for that. You do not have to work a job you don't want to work. You do not have to be a person you don't want to be. You don't have to participate in medical rituals you don't want to do, because your internal truth is the most holy fucking thing on this planet. And I'm sorry this world doesn't recognize it. I'm sorry this world has made you hide from who you are. I'm sorry this world has told you that you as you stand are not good enough, because you are. Who you truly are is divine. Your true self is divine. And I want to see you shine it. I want to see you being your true self. I want to see you supported to be exactly who you really are. Because all of this repression, all that it's doing is making us sick. All of the repression is what's making us mentally ill, physically ill, emotionally ill, societally ill. It's hurting our planet. And it's all because of the internal repression of who we really are and the repression of truth. The closest aspect you have to truth. Yeah, maybe we're surrounded in misinformation. You can go on Twitter, you can go on TikTok, you can go on any of these platforms and get hit with a barrage of personal opinions and propaganda, and you don't know what's what. That's true. But guess what? Your own internal state will never lead you astray, because you have a connection to source energy. You have your own personal connection directly to the truest reality that possibly exists, because your reality is reality. So when everything looks insane, everybody looks crazy, you don't know what's true, remember that you know in your heart who you are. You know in your heart what your value is. And the more you can tune into that frequency of truth, your microcosm of knowing your true reality will radiate into the macrocosm of society and of the world, and you will be doing the work of healing this planet. So thank you for listening to yourself. Thank you for listening to your true heart. Thank you for standing up for what you know is right to do in your body. And thank you for doing the work of healing this planet by healing yourself. Let's do a prayer. Spirit of Uni, we call you here today to protect every person's truest heart, their internal child, and the knowledge that they have about their own bodies, their own minds, their own lives, and their own well-being. We call you here today to help us see through all of the fear and pain so that it is cleared away from our vision, so that we can see with unconditional love for each person and for ourselves, so that we can see that all of our judgments are merely judgments reflected in on ourselves that are radiating out. We are calling you to clear our discomfort with other people who are free. We are calling you to bring freedom and support to each of us so that we can all feel like we have safe institutions to rely on, so that we all feel like we have personal power and autonomy to make our decisions in how we want to interact with everything in this reality. We are praying for the future of joy and Unitopian autonomy and anarchy in a way that is supportive of every single individual, unique person, and as a society as a whole. Uni bless. Thank you.